Superintendent Michelle Reed is making equity a core value in those schools. Does the issue run deeper in Fairfax County than just Jefferson High?
Fairfax County and Loudoun County are a hotbed of issues across the country. If you remember, Loudoun County specifically, they're neighbor counties, by the way. They're side by side. My children actually go to a private school in Fairfax County. They used to go to a public school. We saw the issues in those schools. This is where the parents groups originated out of. These are the parents groups that got Governor Glenn Youngkin elected. I think Governor Youngkin is going to be to Fairfax County what Elon Musk is to Twitter, and he is going to expose the corruption that's going on. There was a text scandal about 2 years ago between two school board members who were making jokes about discriminating against Asian and white students. This is literally the tip of the iceberg, and I think this investigation is going to open it all up.
I think that is a really great analogy, by the way. And today is round 2 of Republicans seeking to elect a Speaker of the House. Now, Jim Jordan was nominated as an alternative to Kevin McCarthy, but he stated, quote, "I've been clear I want to chair the Judiciary Committee." How do you see the struggle between GOP party members resolving or going forward?
Well, this morning, former President Donald Trump came out with a strong endorsement calling on all GOP members to support Kevin McCarthy. We will see later today exactly if any movement has been made. Ultimately, we are seeing democracy happen before our very eyes, and I'm really hoping that we can come to a resolution because we do have an agenda items such as defunding the IRS agents and, restoring parents' rights and oversight committees that we need to get to on behalf of the American people.
Okay, Ron DeSantis, as you heard a moment ago, sworn in yesterday, and he has basically declared war on wokeness. Why aren't more Republican governors taking that very action?
So good news. Sarah Sanders will be sworn in on January 10th. She's going to be, I think, potentially the next education governor and have a lot of opportunity to expose wokeness and move Arkansas forward. We have Governor Greg Abbott, who I've heard is doing amazing things, looking at immigration, looking at school choice as well and education opportunity. His inauguration and swearing in is January 17th. We have Governor Kim Reynolds. So I think this is the very beginning. I think that Governor DeSantis is actually putting a very high bar for these other Republican governors, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do.
Ashley, this is Greg Stevens. We have a new year, but a worse crisis on our southern border. Now, Governor Jared Polis of Colorado is even busing illegal immigrants from his state to New York City and Chicago. Now, he's a Democrat. So will actions like this by fellow Democrats force the Biden administration to finally act on this?
This morning, Governor Polis released a statement calling on the Biden administration to take on the immigration crisis. And they have no indication that they're willing to do it. We do know that President Biden will be traveling to Mexico on Monday and Tuesday. Will he address this issue at that point? I have very little hope, but maybe given the call by his peers that they will begin to open their eyes to this problem. They just continue to blame GOP lawmakers, and I really do hope that his peers start holding him accountable.
Well, maybe he'll run into some people that are on their way on the travel in Mexico.
Probably will.
Democrat-led states are set to change voting laws in their states this year. Why? I don't hear any outcry about voter suppression. When you vote to change voting laws, that's voter suppression, isn't it?
That's what they've been saying, or you're an election denier, which we heard quite frequently this past election cycle in states like Arizona. Right now, the America First Policy Institute has a team of folks across the country that are looking at election laws in 15 different states on how we can make our laws easier to vote and harder to cheat. And that's the bottom line. That's what we should be doing in every single state. And also in some of these states where they're trying to loosen the voter laws, I would not be surprised if we saw some litigation or some legal action.
Okay, real quick, how does America First do that? What are you looking at? We got 30 seconds here.
Basically, we look at passing legislation. So, for example, I have heard that in Arkansas, they're looking at passing some very strong election reform. Or on the case of litigation, we saw in Wisconsin last year, where if there are laws that make it more difficult to vote, that you can take some action on that if it's unconstitutional.
Yeah, it's something that needs to really change in America, and I'm glad you're part of it. America First works. Ashley Hayek, back to you in just a moment. Mike?